What's up? And welcome back to the greatest teacher of all time, where I, Quincy Dawson, interview teachers of color to highlight their personalities, strategies, and philosophies on education. Make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel or go to greatesteacherofalltime.com to help me support more great teachers like Miss B. What's up, Shae?
Hey,
Yeah, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it.
absolutely.
Yeah, I saw you at a Georgia Educators for Equity event and really wanted to have you on. You did some really cool stuff with your music that we're going to talk about.
Yes.
All right, so first off, let's get the generic stuff out the way. What do you teach? How long have you been teaching for? All that stuff.
So I teach biology. Um, I've taught it, well, this is year six now, and that's all I've taught since I've been a teacher.
Okay. So you start biology and did bio. Okay. And I think it's funny because I taught physics, but when you like do your testing and stuff to like be a physics or biology teacher, you're actually like certified to do all the sciences.
Yes, yes,
Right?
certified.
Yeah. So how did you fight to stay only doing biology? So I'm sure they probably drag you in every direction.
No, like biology teachers are pretty high demand, and it's a high stakes testing course. So, like, once you're there, you're kind of there.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. I did my stuff for physics and they really tried to get me to do chemistry because that falls in
Mhm.
that physical science realm. But wow, lucky you.
Mhm.
Yeah. But anyway, it's your 6th year teaching. How is that going so far?
It's interesting because I am starting at a new school this year. So I kind of ended year five thinking I was like, okay, I feel like I'm hitting my stride. I kind of know what I'm doing. Um, but I guess I'm hitting a new set of challenges because I'm still teaching biology, which I've always taught, but I teach biology for the STEM program at the school that I'm at. So it's supposed to be through like a project-based learning lens is how like we approach the learning, which is very new to me. And so I'm like, I feel like this immense pressure to like, you know, keep it rigorous and like do all these things. And I'm like, but I don't know how to do that quite yet. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like it's definitely um it's good, but it's challenging.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I don't know, it's like when we start our teaching everything, we like get our groove, what we like doing, but then like all these new things always come out and they try to tell us to do these new things and all that. But yeah, I could definitely see that could be a challenge. But
Yeah,
are you liking it so far at least?
I am.
Okay, good to hear. So, one of my first questions I want to get into is what's something that's going great about the school year so far?
I would say since I'm at this new school, it's just very like welcoming, like all of my coworkers, the community of the school itself is great, which is a nice welcome change from where I was previously. I feel like I have a lot more autonomy as a teacher, which is great, especially because I teach the biology specific to the STEM program, so I have a little more flexibility than I would with just a regular biology class, which is exciting, but also scary because sometimes I'm like, okay, somebody tell me what to do. But yeah, I would say that part has been going great. Getting to know my students is always nice, like, especially in this time of year, they're starting to come out of their shells a little bit and kind of, being able to connect with them and see what their interests are. Went to the homecoming game and got to see my students like outside of class. So that was cool.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Disclaimer to everyone else, this is what, about 2 months, almost 2 months into the school year now?
Yeah, we started like first week of August.
Okay, so yeah, you're getting your groove, getting your stride. In these couple of weeks, what's something that's been super challenging for you? I know you kind of mentioned it before, but
Yes. So I feel like the most challenging thing, and I think this is true for most teachers, is like differentiation. I feel like it's always a thing that I'm trying to figure out, but don't necessarily know how to do. Because although it's the class that I'm teaching is like quote unquote an honors course, if you will, some of these students, are in this class because they're really interested in science, but that's not necessarily always been their strong suit. They may have never been in an honors class before. So I'm finding that I have students at varying levels and trying to figure out how to keep my students that are classified as gifted like engaged and not bored while also still managing to not like overly frustrate the students that have not been in this situation before. Like I want to make sure I'm staying within their zone of proximal development, and it's just hard to like balance the two within one class.
Yeah, I hear that. I have a question for you though. Do you ever think about the possibility that your students are just great and that you've challenged them enough? Is there a limit to how much you would challenge a student?
um I don't know. I guess it just depends. I think there's like a point where you're like, okay, you've been challenged enough with this particular um concept. Like you've shown me you got it. Like I don't need to continue creating extensions when like you've we can just move on to whatever the next concept is. I think the struggle there is like sometimes you have students and it's like it's just a select few that are there are ready to move on, and I can't really base my class off of the select few, so I still have to stick with the concept because the majority are not where they are at.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a good way to put it because I remember my first year teaching physics. I had a student who was retaking the class, so it was his second time, my first time. But my version of differentiation for him was giving him more problems, right? We're like, okay, everyone else does problems 1 through 10, you do 1 through 20. And like, that's not the differentiation. That's not challenging. It's just giving him more
The
work.
more work, and then to them it's a becomes a punishment for being like doing well. Like why do I have to do more work when everybody else only has to do this amount of work?
Yeah, yeah. So it's a rough thing to balance on what exactly makes it more challenging versus just more stuff to do.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So with this stuff you're talking about, the easy things, the hard things, I think it's important to have a work-life balance. I want to get into how you balance both of them, but first, let's hear from one of my sponsors, Teachers of Color Matter.
Friend, we need to talk. As a teacher of color with a social justice mindset, I know if I give big to my students, I also need to replenish big to myself. My Clap for Yourself 5-minute reflection journal is perfect. This journal was designed for teachers of color, so it takes my experiences in the classroom to heart. And friend, this journal has everything. It helps me address feelings of overwhelm, anxiety, and self-doubt. I can either fill out a template on the right side or process a larger issue on the left. The templates bring more intention and success into my day, and I can use the adult coloring moments when I'm calling a parent or during a staff meeting. And Dr. Michelle has written letters to me throughout the book. It's almost as if she's reading my mind. The inspirational quotes remind me that I'm part of a legacy. Representation matters, and I do make an impact. What does your morning routine look like?
Welcome back, everybody. So I wanted to get into with you, Shae, what are some ways that you balance work and your personal life, right? Because teaching can be a super complex, draining job. I
Yeah.
already know your answer, but tell me, what do you do?
Well, I would say right now, their balance isn't there. But like previously, like especially last year, I think I found a nice balance of I'm a morning person, and so to avoid taking work home, I just get to work early and kind of use those extra hours in the morning to either grade or plan or whatever the case may be, so that I can leave work at a reasonable time. And then if I have to take work, I have to take work. It's fine. But I try not to if I don't have to. And then I do hot yoga. Like that has been super like therapeutic for me. It's nice, it's grounding, it's an hour of like silence. My phone is not on me. I don't have to like respond to anyone or be on or have like personality or anything. I'm just focusing on myself. So I try to do that like twice a week, and just making sure like I'm socializing with friends, like talking on the phone with my friends, reaching out to family, just like spending quality time with the people that I care about.
Yeah, that's really good. Man, I want to talk about that yoga thing. So it's called Bikram yoga, correct? The hot yoga.
The one that I do is vinyasa.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so I did hot yoga. I think it was Bikram, the type I did, and that was rough. That's more of an acquired thing, right? Because I could not stand it.
Mm. Yeah, I guess if you're hot natured, maybe hot yoga is not like the best route, but I usually run cold, so I think it's perfect.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. And I guess getting back into the work-life balance, how do you find time for that? You say you don't take work home, but you just show up early. Are you consistent with that?
So let me preface this by saying that that was last year when I felt like I was hitting my stride. Right now, I definitely take work home like close to every day, but I still and I my start time is a lot earlier now, so I don't really arrive like as much earlier as I could in my previous job. Like we started around 8:30, and so I could get there around like 6:30 and have a good like 2 solid hours in the morning to get stuff done and not take work home. But my current job, we start at like, or I have to be there at 6:45. So like, yeah, the time in the morning is not really there. So I definitely just use the time in the afternoon. But that was something that I did previously.
Okay, okay, yeah. Man, I don't know if I can get there extra early to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
I would prefer to take it home or use those planning periods. Are those ever enough?
those are never enough.
Never,
Those,
never.
yeah, no, not to plan and grade and have meetings. Like there's just no
Yeah,
way you can get
yeah.
it done.
Man, I remember my last year actually in the school system teaching. I made it a goal to only work during those school hours and like really utilize my planning periods. I was so behind in everything.
Yeah, exactly. The amount of work that you have to do is not, it's not possible to only get it done within your contract hours.
Yeah, yeah, man. I wish there was, I don't know, a suggested way or like a different way to do things like that. Cause yeah, it can definitely be a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. One of the other things I know that you to balance is your music career.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about that, Shay, because that was my introduction to singing.
I know. It's always like such a left turn when people meet me that way and then I tell them I'm a science teacher. They're like, "What?"
Right? Well, that's good though. I love it. It shows you can do both.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in my everyday life, I really am more of like a logistical, like I guess right brain person, but I do love to tap into creativity. Music and singing and writing, songwriting specifically has always been like my first love and first passion. Um, and it wasn't until like quarantine when the pandemic hit that I got back into it and started releasing my own music um, online. And I think it was sometime last year. It's only been like a year and a half, maybe, that I've been like performing um like in front of audiences and stuff and like promoting my music. And yeah, I feel like I'm a big proponent of second careers and following multiple passions and not feeling like you have to stick to something because that's like what you went to school for. So the dream is to ultimately like become like a full-time artist, but I'm happy with the way things are going now. Like I'm passionate about education, but I'm also passionate about, pursuing this dream.
Yeah, that's great. And I guess I was kind of phrasing it as a work-life balance, but these are like your two works, your two jobs.
Yeah, yeah, it's essentially.
Yeah, okay, okay. And I guess I wanted to think, how did you exactly get into? I know you started doing more, I guess, higher level things during the pandemic, but like what happened before that in terms of like
Mhm.
your teaching journey as well?
Let's see. I've always sang since I was a kid. I feel like everybody says that. I was in chorus all through elementary, middle, high school. Um, my mom put me in piano lessons in high school as a Christmas gift. It was one of the best Christmas gifts I ever got. And I just was always writing stuff. So music has always been there. And I think when I was 17, when I graduated high school, I auditioned for American Idol and I did not get in. Spoiler alert, there's no video to watch.
So
Um,
wait, it's funny, you know the secret about American Idol, how it's not televised for the auditions.
yeah, I learned that. I was like, which made sense because the amount of people that they say come to audition, it's impossible that these three celebrity judges would have heard them all. So like there's multiple rounds in front of producers before you get to a celebrity judge. But so I didn't make it. I was already on track to go to college, got accepted to the University of North Georgia. So I went as a biology major because that was always my favorite science. I didn't know what I was going to do with that. I've I've bopped around in terms of like in my head of what careers that I thought I would do. I knew it would be something with like helping people because that's just a passion of mine. But I am not like, I could not be a doctor or nurse or anything. So it's like, what am I going to do with this? And then eventually I became a TA for one of my former professors when I was in college, I think around my sophomore year. And I was like, I think I want to become a teacher because just being able to like help people feel like they can get to that aha moment, like you're helping them understand something and like, or teaching them something without necessarily explaining it to them. Like you feel like you're like helping them procure a skill that they can continue to use moving forward. And I was like, oh, I really like that. I think I want to become a teacher. So I changed my major to biology and secondary education. And then the rest is history. Here I am.
Okay, I love it. I love it, man. And so I guess it's funny. You said teaching wasn't originally in your plans, but being a biology teacher is what happened. I don't want to be insulting to music teachers who studied it, but do you think you singing right now is equipping you to maybe be a music teacher? Like, do you know the theory and like techniques and things you're using, or is it really just the art?
No, I wouldn't say that I am adept to do that, but I mean, kudos to everyone who is because those were always some of my favorite classes to be in. Um, but yeah, no, not something that I see in my future. But you never
Yeah.
know.
Hey, anything can happen. Anything can happen. I'm also curious. So you have music, you release it online. I've heard your music. It's great. Do your students know about it? Do your other teachers know?
My former students know about it. I tend to like keep it on the hush just because I like having to like that separation of work and life. But you know, they find you. So I'm sure at some point down the year they'll get curious and like try to find me on Instagram or whatever and
Yep.
they'll stumble upon it.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Like, are you, I guess, comfortable or confident in having your students who look up to you see this? Or I don't know, what's your,
Yeah, I'm totally okay with it. Like the only reason I don't tell them is just because I'm kind of like a private person, but um all of my music I feel like is authentic to myself and very heartfelt and also it's totally appropriate. Like so if they heard it, it wouldn't be like anything crazy, like, oh my God, Miss B, what are you doing?
yeah, I get you. So I guess your music wouldn't be a surprise to your students.
Right.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Man, thank you so much for this, Miss B. You're doing a lot in terms of being a biology teacher, balancing music, telling about your work-life balance and everything. But yeah, these are all part of the reasons why I think you might be one of the greatest teachers of all time.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
Yeah, of course, of course. And also, thanks to my sponsors like Costco, Teachers of Color Matter, Victorious RED Restoration. We'd actually like to sponsor you with this $150 prepaid gift card to use with you or your students, or whatever you choose.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course. So yeah, once the cameras go off, I'll get your address, figure out how to get this mailed to you.
Awesome.
Great, great. Thank you to everyone else for watching The Greatest Teacher of All Time, where I, Quincy Dawson, interview teachers of color, tell their personalities, strategies, and philosophies on education. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. And if you really liked it, leave a comment for me and Miss B to see. Also, if you are the greatest teacher of all time, or if you know the greatest teacher of all time, let me know. Go to greatestteacherofalltime.com and click on Submit a Teacher. Hope to see you soon.